Recently, I talked about this all with the president's son, Eric Trump.
You're 100% right. If you want to know the Democratic motives, Jesse, look at the HEROES Act, right? The HEROES Act was supposed to be in response to COVID. It was supposed to be $3 trillion. You would think that the HEROES Act, some of that money would actually go to first responders, right? I mean, as the name implies, they're beautiful marketers. Well, the very things in the HEROES Act were eliminating all voter ID. This was put in by Nancy Pelosi. Having all absentee ballots. I mean, they're not even trying to be secretive about this. They're not even trying to put this under covers. They are exposing this for the whole world to see. They're exposing their motives, and I'm so glad you showed that clip of Nadler in New York where he said, I can show you examples of voter fraud after voter fraud after voter fraud because they want to lead you to believe it doesn't exist. And then you see states like Florida where they found literally cartons of ballots, right? Cartons and cartons of ballots. I'm sorry, you see what's happening with some of the judicial races in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, where people have admitted to fraud. Voter fraud is real, and it is absolutely happening every single day, and the Democrats don't care, and the media wants to ignore it.
Yeah, they don't. See, it's funny because the local media will report it. They'll report all these ballots that they found bundled up in mailboxes. And then the national media, they'll ignore their sister networks on the ground, and they'll just lie to the American people because they're on the same side of the Democrats. They want a close race, so they hold back these bundles, and then during these recounts or at the last minute, oh, we just found 600 votes in a swing state, flip it blue. So now you got the Twitter people on board with the scam. How dangerous do you think it is?
Well, I think it's really dangerous. And you know what's interesting about Twitter? You and I and every other conservative out there, we've known this has been happening the whole time. I mean, every single kind of outspoken conservative has been shadow banned behind the scenes. There's just no question. I mean, for the longest time, for 3 years, the only people Twitter was suggesting that I follow was Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. I mean, I kind of find that odd that they popped up at the top of my screen every single time. And then you see people getting deleted from your account, and you see posts that you literally sent out that had this many views, then you come back a little while later and they have half the amount of views. We all know this is the game that Twitter has been playing. They came out publicly. They did it for the first time in public. So everything that we knew was happening, everything that they had been accused of, they came out and they did it in the full transparency of the world. And Jesse, here's the one thing I can tell you. It's going to cost them the election because the one thing that Republicans, the one thing that Americans don't want to have happen to them is to have their free speech silenced, right? We have the First Amendment protection for a reason. Americans fundamentally, it's ingrained in their DNA, believe in having free speech. And I'm telling you, it's going to backfire on them. Do not take that ability away from Americans. And there is no better way. There is no more surefire way to get Americans out to the polls to vote for Donald Trump than to stifle their free speech.
I think you're exactly right. I think it's going to blow up right in their faces, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. Eric Trump, everybody. Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization. Have a great weekend.
Great to be with you, Jesse.